Evening, everyone. It's 6:37 on Wednesday, the 26th, and this is your closing comment. It's video number 1124. Okay, it was a pretty interesting day today. The Dow started to the upside on primarily the Microsoft conference call after the close last night, where the stock did a complete turnaround after being substantially lower. And as of this morning, it was trading at 303, and that was actually up $15. Last night, when we were talking about it, it was much lower and had traded much lower. Also, Texas Instruments was higher on their overnight earnings news. Um, Boeing was slightly positive, but in fact went negative. Apple was up $3. So on news that the iPhone had eclipsed the top sales of 2015. So Apple is the choice. Today we had a bunch more of earnings, and they started off with an old name, Glassworks, which is Corning Glass. It had closed 35.30 and reported a solid beat, traded as high as 41.12 and closed the day at 39.12, and that was up $3.82, or pretty solid 11%. After the close, we had Levi, Intel, and Tesla. Levi was a beat. It closed at 20.32 regular market hours, then traded up to 21.59. The last is 29.50. So moved up pretty nicely. It's trading right now at 22, which is up a full dollar from last night's close to tonight's close, even though it was down 68 cents during the day. Intel was a beat, but the stock traded down. Talk about supply chain issues were the main issue. It had actually closed 51.69, up 69 cents, but traded down to 49.16. The last there is 50.50, and that's down a half a dollar. But clearly the granddaddy of all of these was Tesla. Tesla was a huge beat. It was a beat on earnings. It was a beat on revenues. It was a beat on the internal metric of profit margin. The stock had closed at 937.41, up 19, but after the news came, there was some question about supply chain issues, traded all the way down to 879. So a pretty solid move to the downside. And as soon as people started talking about what the numbers actually were and what they represented, the stock had rallied all the way up to 978. In fact, I was looking at options today before the earnings came, and I was looking at the 1,000 calls that expire on Friday, and with the stock at 940, they were $26. So you really needed to see a heck of a move here. In any event, it traded up to 987. Currently is trading 964, and that is up $46. So pretty nice turnaround there. Actually, last is 943.50, and that's up 25.10. So a really good day there, and we'll see how that looks tomorrow. Futures were also pretty much all over the place today. Energy and oil was up strong. Oil finished 87.35. Brent crude actually touched $90. And the nat gas, which we had a long position in UNG, we actually sold those right after the open, sold half on the 50% up rule. So we have no more money in that trade, and it still finished up at 403, even though it had traded as high as 419. Gold, on the other hand, came down pretty hard after trading again in that same area that we've talked about over and over and over again, the 1850 range. Um, we closed above it yesterday for the first time, and then we're never even unchanged. It gapped down. The open was 848. The high was 850 and change. It got all the way down to 1814 and closed at 1829.70, down 22.80. And tonight it hasn't broken today's low, but it did gap down at the open about $10, and the last is 1820. That's only $1 off the low, and down another 970. Bitcoin was higher again today, 37,060, up 205. Not overwhelming, but I showed you this morning that it looked like it was consolidating after that big 1 day reversal at the bottom here. It's down 200 tonight, but I'll show you what we're talking about. We were talking about this big drop down where it hit below 33,000, 32,855. Then the following day was was lower after making kind of an inside day. And then today, it actually got up as high as just about 39,000. I mean, I see this 40,000 as kind of was an area of support, now becomes resistance. But as long as we stay over this 35.6 to 36,000, I think it probably works higher. The Fed had their meeting, decision, and press conference today. Bonds were down $1 on that news. Let's see where they are tonight now that things have settled in a bit. Bonds are up one tick, so really not much. What is up, though, are the stock futures. S&P up 25, Nasdaq up 117 and a half, Dow up 127, Russell up 780. These are all higher, but remember, Apple has their earnings tomorrow, so we'll have to see how that plays out. All right, everyone, be careful out there. It's really been tough.